Hi everyone, I am Dr. Saida and I'm excited to invite you into Redefining Femininity. This is a series that I'm doing, interviewing many different people, including men. And Destin happens to be the first one I get to do today of interviewing men, getting the male perspective on femininity. This is very excited, Destin. I'm very excited to have you here. I'm just going to say a couple words about you so the listeners and viewers know a little bit about you. Destin is an internationally recognized leading voice in masculinity, sexuality, and personal empowerment, and the author of the forthcoming book, The Evolved Masculine. Welcome, Destin. It's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to connect with you and an honor to be able to speak with you and your audience.
Yeah. Well, I just want to jump right in. What does femininity actually mean to you personally?
Well, I think that's changed a lot over time. I grew up in American culture where femininity probably meant pink, soft, maybe passive, girly, and also very much that thing that as a man I was not supposed to be in any way, shape, or form. Now, at 40 years old, as well as 20 years into my professional journey around masculine and feminine dynamics, I see it very differently. One, that femininity or the feminine and masculine are energies that permeate the universe. They exist in everything and in everyone. So you carry a certain balance of masculine and feminine energies within you. I carry a certain balance within myself, and within that, we have the capacity to access any of these energies at any time. And at the same time, most of us, like most women, have at their core a larger amount or an easier access to this feminine energy, whereas most men have an easier access and a larger amount of this masculine energy. So feminine is the body wisdom, intuition, softness, receptivity, which is not the same thing as passivity, the flow. These are all one of the things I think that we're finally beginning to start to understand and recognize as a larger culture, is that masculine and feminine do not need to be in competition with one another, and one is not necessarily better or more important than the other. They are two halves of a whole. Last thing I want to say on that, I'm a big fan of tantric mythology, which, as opposed to the Judeo-Christian creation mythology of, and on the seventh day he rested, a tantric creation myth has a Shiva right here as the masculine principle of the divine, also represented as pure consciousness itself, and feminine as Shakti, as pure energy. And Shakti and Shiva, the feminine and the masculine aspects of the divine, came together in sacred union, aka had sex, and gave birth to the universe. Consciousness and energy, everything that we know comes into existence. Fantastic. In that model, built into that model of divinity, is a source of spirituality of masculine and feminine as equal and complementary opposites. And we need more of that type of value system.
Yes, I completely agree. And I love that it's true, Destin. You can't actually describe femininity without also bringing in masculinity, because it's like yin and yang. It needs to coexist together. So I really appreciate your definition. Was there anything, like a particular moment on your journey, because you said that your definition has been evolving, was there a particular moment where your current definition, the thing that means the most to you in terms of femininity and masculinity, where it really showed up, where you're like, wow, did something happen, or was there a particular insight?
Well, when I first met my now wife 15 years ago, I was in awe of this otherworldly creature. And she then what was so much more attuned to her feminine energy than I was used to, and now it's so much more so than that even. Um, and there was something that I just found so entrancing. I like that she engaged with the world in a way that was so utterly foreign to anything that I'd known, and certainly foreign from the way that I understood the world. And it led me to just want to understand it and to understand her, and sometimes battle with her and argue around right perspective. And that's softened over time. And the more I
Yeah.
came to understand it, the more that I allowed it to infiltrate my own understandings and ways of experiencing the world as well.
I love that. And I've met her and she is incredible. And I think it's actually important to have healthy models of dynamic relationships between men and women. And I think the two of you do a really great job of that. So just wanted to reflect
Likewise.
that back to you. The last question that I have, you already touched on it a little bit. I want to go deeper. I'm not sure in your world, but definitely in my world, what I'm seeing is a lot of divisive conversations, divisive
Yep.
discussions between the masculinity and femininity, toxic and all this craziness. And I know that there's a creative way where we can move forward with healthy, robust dynamics between masculinity and femininity. And I'm curious, what would be, say, one thing that you feel that we need to pay attention to in order to contribute to that healthy, harmonious dynamic?
Yeah, first of all, I'm full agreement, and it's what caused me to create the Evolved Masculine in the first place. I believe that we need healthy visions to inspire us towards, not solely to look at everything that's wrong.
Mm.
Um, so I would say that the foundation is that we need to be building bridges of empathy, understanding, and compassion with one another. That rather than try to constantly point fingers of blame and shame and who's wrong or who's the one who needs to change, really recognize that we live in a traumatized world,
Mm.
and we all carry trauma. And that what we see in the world and how men and women are to one another as well as to ourselves has to do with the fact that we all carry unresolved trauma. And so rather than try to compete with one another as to who's got the worst end of the deal and what have you, can we use our own pains, wounds, traumas as connection points to like to have that deeper empathy, compassion, understanding for the other person. Like
I
my
love.
pain, my wounds, my traumas, help me understand yours.
Yeah. And then when we actually, instead of using like the word toxic, if we start understanding that there's a wounded person there and we engage, that's much more like an invitation, I find, a leaning in, because toxic starts to make me want to move away from. But when I can like look and say, hey, I'm wounded, this person's wounded, where can we meet? Where can we start to have a dialogue? Because I think we, in the end, all would love a similar thing, which is a thriving, expressed, abundant, connected world.
Totally, totally. And I believe that we're only going to rise together. So
Yeah.
the last thing I'd like to say, particularly to a female audience, is I believe that we've been centering the wrong men. That we put too much attention and energy focus on the men with the most toxic behaviors. And I would like to see things like this, where um, those who are holding a positive collaborative vision to be coming together, men and women, more, and for those voices to be working in tandem and leading the way.
Yes, I fully agree. I love it. Thank you so much, Destin, for being here, for offering your heart. I'm really, really excited to have heard from you. I think it's important to, like you said, build those bridges. And for the viewers, I have a little invitation for you, so please stand by. And thank you so much again, Destin. Mwah. You're invited to join this amazing conversation. Soon I'll be doing a training, Redefining Feminine Power, and I want you to be there. So click the link that comes with this video, join. Just for joining, I will be giving you a free downloadable gift, so definitely watch out for that. And if you can't make it at the time that the training is happening, don't worry. Because you've signed up, we'll make sure you get the replay, all right? So all you need to do is just click on the link, join the conversation, and let's redefine feminine power together.